Pearl Harbor attack. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Before we get started, make sure to hit that like button. Also subscribe to my channel. Pearl Harbor attack. So make sure to watch the full video. Introduction. On December 7, 1941, a pivotal event occurred that would forever change the course of history and shape the United States' involvement in World War II. The attack on Pearl Harbor, a naval base located on the island of Oahu, Hawaii, by the Imperial Japanese Navy was a shocking and devastating surprise that thrust the United States into a global conflict. In this video, we will delve into the events leading up to the attack on Pearl Harbor, the attack itself, and its profound consequences. By examining the historical context, military strategies, and the aftermath, we can gain a deeper understanding of this significant moment in history. In the early 20th century, tensions between the United States and Japan had been escalating due to a series of political and economic disputes. Japan, seeking to expand its sphere of influence in the Pacific region, had embarked on an aggressive campaign of territorial conquests in Asia. The United States, concerned about Japan's expansionist ambitions and its invasion of China, responded by imposing economic sanctions and an oil embargo, aiming to curtail Japan's military capabilities. Background only. To understand the significance of the Pearl Harbor attack, we must first examine the geopolitical landscape leading up to the event. In the early 1940s, tensions between Japan and the United States were escalating due to Japan's aggressive expansionist policies in East Asia. The United States, as a leading power in the region, had imposed economic sanctions on Japan in response to its invasion of China and other acts of aggression. These sanctions, particularly the embargo on oil, severely limited Japan's ability to sustain its war efforts and put the country in a desperate position. Japan, under the leadership of Prime Minister Hideki Tojo, saw the United States as a significant obstacle to its imperial ambitions. In order to secure vital resources and establish dominance in the Pacific, Japan devised a plan to launch a surprise attack on the United States Pacific Fleet at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. On the morning of December 7, 1941, the Japanese launched a devastating aerial assault on the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor. The attack, carried out by a fleet of Japanese aircraft carriers, caught the American forces off guard and inflicted significant damage. The Japanese targeted the battleships, aircraft carriers, and other key military installations at Pearl Harbor, resulting in the loss of several American ships, aircraft, and the lives of over 2,400 military personnel and civilians. The attack on Pearl Harbor was a pivotal moment in World War II, as it propelled the United States into the conflict. Up until that point, the U.S. had maintained a policy of neutrality, but the surprise attack shattered any illusions of isolationism and galvanized the American people to fully commit to the war effort. The attack. On the morning of December 7, 1941, a fleet of Japanese aircraft launched a surprise attack on the U.S. Pacific Fleet stationed at Pearl Harbor, located on the island of Oahu in Hawaii. The attack was meticulously planned and executed, catching the American forces off guard. In a span of just 2 hours, the Japanese bombers and fighters devastated the U.S. naval base, sinking or severely damaging several battleships, cruisers, and destroyers. The attack resulted in the loss of over 2,400 American lives and caused significant damage to the base's infrastructure. However, the attack on Pearl Harbor did not just happen out of the blue. It was the culmination of rising tensions between Japan and the United States, stemming from Japan's expansionist ambitions and the U.S. embargo on essential resources, particularly oil and steel, which Japan heavily relied on. In the years leading up to the attack, Japan had been expanding its empire in East Asia, invading and occupying territories such as Manchuria, China, and French Indochina, modern-day Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. These actions were met with strong condemnation from the international community, including the United States. In response to Japan's aggressive actions, the U.S. government imposed economic sanctions on Japan, including an embargo on critical resources. The intent was to pressure Japan into halting its expansionist policies and withdrawing from the occupied territories. However, these measures only served to further escalate tensions between the two nations. Recognizing the need to cripple the U.S. Pacific Fleet in order to proceed with its plans for further expansion, the Japanese government devised a plan to launch a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. The attack was led by Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, who believed that a swift and decisive blow to the American forces would give Japan the upper hand in the Pacific region. In the early morning hours of December 7, 1941, a fleet of 6 aircraft carriers launched a total of 353 Japanese aircraft toward Pearl Harbor. The attack began at approximately 7:55 a.m., with the first wave of planes targeting the U.S. airfields and aircraft stationed at Ford Island. The second wave focused on the battleships moored along Battleship Row, where they unleashed a barrage of torpedoes and bombs. The U.S. forces at Pearl Harbor were caught completely off guard. The Japanese attackers achieved total surprise, as the American radar operators mistook the approaching aircraft for a group of incoming U.S. B-17 bombers due to a series of miscommunications and technical limitations. By the time the alarm was sounded, it was already too late. Consequences. The attack on Pearl Harbor had immediate and profound consequences for both Japan and the United States. The United States, shocked by the audacity and scale of the attack, declared war on Japan the following day, officially entering World War II. This marked a turning point in the war, as the United States became fully committed to the Allied cause and embarked on a massive mobilization effort to support the war effort. In the aftermath of the attack, there was a wave of patriotism and a collective determination to avenge the losses suffered at Pearl Harbor. The attack galvanized the American public, leading to increased support for the war and a unified national resolve. The event also triggered a profound shift in the American mindset, as isolationist sentiments gave way to a recognition of the need for global engagement and the defense of democratic values. The legacy. The Pearl Harbor attack left an indelible mark on history, shaping the course of World War II and influencing subsequent global events. It led to the United States' full engagement in the war, providing a crucial boost to the Allied forces and ultimately contributing to the defeat of Japan and the Axis powers. The attack also propelled the United States into a position of global leadership, with the country emerging as a superpower in the post-war era. The attack on Pearl Harbor occurred on December 7, 1941, when the Imperial Japanese Navy launched a surprise military strike on the United States naval base at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The attack was a strategic move by Japan to incapacitate the American Pacific Fleet, which they perceived as a threat to their expansionist ambitions in Southeast Asia. In this section, we will explore what happened during the Pearl Harbor attack and its lasting legacy. On that fateful Sunday morning, Japanese aircraft descended upon Pearl Harbor in 2 waves, targeting American battleships, cruisers, and destroyers. The attack lasted approximately 2 hours and resulted in the destruction of numerous ships, aircraft, and infrastructure. The U.S. Arizona battleship suffered a catastrophic explosion, sinking with the loss of more than 1,100 crew members. In total, the attack claimed the lives of over 2,400 Americans and left more than 1,100 injured. The surprise nature of the attack caught the United States off guard and shocked the nation. The following day, President Franklin D. Roosevelt addressed Congress, delivering his famous Day of Infamy speech, in which he declared war on Japan. The United States officially entered World War II, joining the Allied forces in their fight against the Axis powers. The attack on Pearl Harbor had several significant consequences. First and foremost, it galvanized the American people and unified the nation in a common cause. The attack served as a catalyst for a surge of patriotism and a determination to defeat the aggressors. The incident also marked a turning point in American isolationist policies, leading to a shift towards an interventionist stance on the global stage. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel before you go.